So perfect. Now it's on to the big one. The race we all, well, not there for, but the race we all can't wait to see. Being a handicap, as we were talking about earlier, you don't usually get the top weights in because they're all scared of the up and coming 3-year-olds that are well weighted, or an older horse that's been campaigned to come in here with a very, very good mark. The Snakes are masters at that, and they've got Bulgarian into the race off a mark that in my opinion is about 10 points too low of his actual best. Had he been drawn well, he'd be even shorter than he is. He is currently favourite, and his wide draw gives everyone else a bit of hope here that they can beat the well-handicapped horse.
He does look the one though, doesn't he? He looks like if all was equal, if you took the draw out of it, he's just got such that progressive profile. And as you said, they've campaigned him for this race. You know that he's getting in well at the weights. 53. He looks like he's thrown in really. He ticks so many boxes. And for mine, if he was able to, if he's able to just find a spot from that draw, he's going to be tough to beat. I mean, we've got to remember, he's won his last 4, but 3 of those 4 he's drawn the inside. Hasn't really had to overcome a bad gate in a while. But also the way that he was winning it. Again, I was there on Queen's Plate Day when he won, and he was doing it arrogantly. It was the last time out. I think that all being equal, he probably would be the most likely winner. But as we've said a couple of times already, it is a really deep July, and there are plenty of other ways to go as well. So while he's probably my idea of most likely winner, I think there are a couple of other ways you can go as well.
Yeah, 100%. And just to note, I mean, last time he got put into a race at Gravel 1900 where he could only get given 6 points because that's in the guidelines for the handicap because of that race. Handicappers have come out subsequently and said they would potentially have given him 10 points, I think it is. And they could have changed the law, but the Snakes played a master stroke and knew what race they were entering up into. He did over race and he was hanging in that race. But you can expect the freshness. It was his first run for a couple of months and his first run in Durban. So, Richard Fourie has ridden the horse 4 times and won 4 times on him. So, whatever happens here, you probably, out of him and Do It Again, being drawn widely, you're probably going to see a cracking ride from one of South Africa's best jockeys, even being Richard Fourie or Do It Again. They're both going to have to play master strokes to get their horses into the race and in good positions. I'd be taking him on in the Durban July. I don't like the sexy horse. I'd rather get it beat. There's too many hard luck stories to be on a horse that's going to be short on the day and have a wide draw. So the horse that
I've taken him on too. So, but I've put in my selection already. So I'm interested to see yours and see if we end up anywhere near the same.
Well, you're going to accuse me of bias, and I hope you're using your Australian patriotism here, but I've gone for Soccer.
Yeah, I thought you might. I don't have Soccer, but I can understand.
I just think he's undervalued on his Cape Town campaign and his last 2 runs. Because of the cock horses, and this is an age-old argument, Cape Town versus Johannesburg. Johannesburg takes their chances, goes down to Cape Town. Cape Town never comes to Johannesburg. So myself and Justin from Mark get quite stuck into this because we're both on the same side. And we always say, oh, these horrible Joburg horses have done it again. So I personally think he's been ignored here. That arguably for me, Awam's last run was his best run in South Africa. People could argue different, could say what they want. But he got a shake of the reins from Callan and he extended and he didn't look like he was stopping when he hit the line. Socrates from the stable, they believe, because he did go for a spell on the farm after Cape Town. He came back behind Awam over 16, ran 5 lengths off, then came back behind him again in the Champions Stakes over 2,000 and ran 3.5 lengths behind him. And they believe there's another notch to go. So if you put a warm into this race, he'd be fine for favoritism, and I don't think he'd be a much bigger price than Rainbow Bridge, who is second favourite or joint favourite. Soccer comes in here, and there were early quotes of 20-1. I think he's gone down to 12-1, but I still make him the value. He's got a good draw. He's got pace on his inside of Padre Pio, who's definitely going to go to the front. And Callan Murray, we'd hope to, he knows the horse, and we'd hope he'd be sharp and on the pace. I don't think this horse is going to be very far back. And him and Rainbow Bridge, for me, could get the ideal trip into this race. Rainbow Bridge, drawn 2 as well. It would be interesting because he does, in my opinion, you don't want to get stuck on the rail in July because you're going to come around that bend and you never know where to go. So it'd be interesting. I think Warren's going to jump and try initially sit outside Padre Pio, initially sit on Padre Pio and hope that Golden Ducat or something else tries to shove up the inside. So yeah, I just think Stockgate's drawn very well in this race. Twist of Fate, similarly, the only concern for me with Twist of Fate is he would have to run to a rating of, he does get the weight, but he'd have to run to a very good rating here to win the race. He was the underrated horse when he was younger, but since the others have come to the fore, I mean, he's always there and thereabouts, but he doesn't get the job done. So I expect to see a similar run from him. He'll be there and thereabouts, but I don't think he'll be winning the race, in my opinion. Vardy, distance is a question mark, but he's proved his quality. Last time, I thought he ran a very good race to get anywhere near Rainbow Bridge because he got stuck far back on the gravel course, and he actually flew home. That is sometimes his running style, and if you get stuck back in the July, as I've said, hard luck stories are very common. Got the green lights, the best 3-year-old in the country by far. I don't think any of the Cape horses come close to him. And yeah, the Derby was unlucky, just didn't stay the last little bit. Callan rode him. We thought he would win the Derby. He just didn't stay. But yeah, it will be interesting to see if he's at that level of these top class horses. He does get a nice weight, but it will be interesting to see if he is at this level. He's proven, and I was wrong. I didn't think he would train on into the horse he has become. But he's proven he's the best 3-year-old by far, and he's quite versatile. So it'll be interesting to see how he stacks up here.
It's just such an open race. The more that you look at it, there are so many different ways you can go. I will say, you did actually mention the horse that I have selected. Look, I take on board what you say, and it is Twist of Fate. I do agree that he does need to run to a big rating to win. And the thing is, he's always around the mark without winning. But the thing is, he is such a consistent horse. He's rarely beaten very far at all, beaten 2-3 lengths in some of those really top class weight for age races. Gets the weight off here. And what I found really interesting was that he's only gone up 2.5 kilos since that third place last year. He does make them worse at the weights, but he also is that year older. And he is more seasoned. He's obviously gone back to Cape Town before travelling back up here again. For me, Twist of Fate, really interesting to see what he does here with Adam Marcus obviously preparing him this time around. I think there's a number of chances here, though. Rainbow Bridge, again, honest as the day is long. Socrate, you've talked about thoroughly. Vardy, I probably couldn't have him at the trip. I know Adam said after he won the Queen's Plate, he didn't think the Sun Met would be an issue, but just didn't seem the same horse at 2,000 metres. I think this is probably tougher because I think the way the race unfolds, I think you want a horse that does have that backup of stamina behind them. And I just don't see him being that type. Got the green light. Interested to see how the 3-year-olds stack up. Do it again. It'd be great if he managed to win, but it's going to be very tough from 18. First horse to become to be a 3-time winner. Golden Ducat, we were there for the Cape Derby win. Again, a little bit of a surprise there, that win. But he's been honest since. I think there's plenty of chance in here, but for me, Twist of Fate's the way I'm going.
Yeah, but you're not the only one. Alistair Cohen's firmly in your camp.
Oh, well, good company then. He's a good.
They've actually gone back to the blinkers. Ran with the blinkers last year in Durban, and it's the first time he'll be in the blinkers for Adam Marcus. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes there. I didn't touch on Do It Again. Probably just because a horse winning 3 Julys, I never thought I'd see. So yeah, I think on what he did in Durban, he just seems to come alive. His last run was decent behind Rainbow Bridge, but the small question mark for me is have these horses got to him and gone a little bit past him, in my opinion. For Marcus to ride him, he must be a live shout, and he is a live shout on what he's done. That Cape campaign was a bit off, but so was Socrates at the end of the day. So yeah, let's see if he's able to win this 3 from draw 18. I think it would be a story for South African racing history. And if he does win it, they deserve the Snakes deserve all the accolades they can get with this horse to get him back from looking flat and over the hill. So yeah, it's an interesting race. It's competitive as hell. Usually it's competitive because it's a handicap. I think this time it's competitive because you got some really, really good horses in it. And some horses that are just under that could raise to that level. So yeah, it's an exciting race, and the Durban July needs to be an exciting race every year. It's the showcase for South African racing. So unfortunately, we won't have the crowds. Some of the fashion's insane. And even more disappointing is we won't be able to see Andrew taking part in the 13th race this year.
I'm in training for next year.
Perfect. So we move on then.